The air with News Director Paul Juergens talking about catalytic converter thievery going on in Moorhead, and not just Moorhead. Fargo police have also taken several reports of catalytic converter thefts in recent weeks, and it caught my ear a little bit. I'm like, well, now why would you kind of looked into it the last 24 hours, and I know Captain Swenson did too, because this is a weird crime. Captain Deric Swenson of the Moorhead Police Department joins us to talk about catalytic converter thievery going on in the metro area. Hello, Captain Swenson. How are you today, sir?
Good. How are you doing today?
Good. Did you have a nice Christmas?
It was just fine. And by the way, Dan, with that song you played, I was 4 years old when that was number one, if that's what you just said. So just kind of putting it out there.
Captain, I don't often get to tell a captain in a police department to bite me, but I'd like you to just take a bite of my old butt. Yeah, I was a lot older than that in 1978. So.
Just let you know.
Thank you very much. I started in radio in 1977, so there you go. Thanks, Derek.
All right.
I really feel old now. Here, let me feel myself. Oh, yeah, I'm really old. Okay,
well, yeah.
Let's talk about catalytic converters. The first, when I heard about this, and I've heard of the thievery of catalytic converters before, especially when they were first out, but this seems like not enough return on investment, Captain Swenson.
Well, again, we prior to going on air, you and I talked about if you put a bunch of eggs in a basket, you're going to end up with quite a few. So that's typically what our thieves are doing, is they're not looking for just that one-time reward. They're looking for that collection and taking these pieces. So the catalytic converters underneath the car, it's part of the exhaust system. It's used to reduce those emissions that come out of your engine. And what they're inside that catalytic converter is going to be some precious metals that can be used for recycling. So what a thief will do is steal these, turn them into a recycler, and then that recycler will take them apart and use those different metals that are inside there to make their money. So they're making a couple $100. The problem is your vehicle will probably run. It's just not going to sound real good. It's going to sound like you're driving that hog, and it's not going to run right. But the piece that's going to be for that victim that's typically when we're looking at shop replacements. It could be up to $1,000 or more.
Sure.
So the people that's a victim, they're making, this person that's the thief's making a couple $100, but it's really costing that victim so much more.
Well, and absolutely. And, all of us have our deductibles set at a certain level in case we get into a car accident. And, we figure we can cover the first 1,000 or more than that. So if you have something like that stolen off you, that's just cash out of hand for almost 100% of us.
Absolutely. And the biggest piece you want to look at for any auto owner, and we've had about 12, actually we took more, one as I was just leaving today. We've had 12 since November. And again, these are usually targets of opportunity. So it's not like these people are sneaking into garages and specifically looking for these catalytic converters. What they're finding is vehicles that are parked outside. A lot of them are going to be fleet vehicles that are going to be several vehicles lined up at once so they can get more than one at a time. And again, these thieves, once they get good at it, can get this piece of automobile equipment off the vehicle and gone within minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible. There's 4 to 7 grams of platinum-related precious metals in each catalytic converter, making them worth between like $250 and $450 per person. And then you have to go get it fenced as well. So you're going to obviously lose some money because the fence person is, taking a risk as well. So it blows my mind. But yes, that's how it happens. Have there been many reports of, residential catalytic converters being stolen?
Just a few, and those have been typically in high-density population, like apartment buildings, where the multiple vehicles are parked outside. Again, then we have those fleet vehicles that maybe aren't run all the time, or they're parked in that rear of that lot that's not well lit. So, again, just like I talked about with the porch pirates a couple of weeks ago, is we don't want to be targets of opportunity. So what we can do to defend ourselves is have well-lit areas, park those vehicles where, people aren't going to want to, they have to climb underneath the vehicle. So if you can park against the wall, if you can, park where there's going to be cameras available. And again, if you use cameras, we want to be able to capture what we want. We want to be able to capture and try to identify that suspect and also capture maybe the vehicle they came into. So all pre-planning that we can do to try not to be easy victims. And there's going to be times where you just can't do that, but there are going to be a lot of things that we can try to do to hopefully make our vehicle less appealing to the suspect.
So those are ways we can prevent it. Is there any way we can help detectives or anybody with the police departments in our area find these guys? Is there any way we can work together outside of setting up a camera or something?
Yeah, and the biggest thing I always push anytime you talk with me is that collaboration with the community and the police department. So having those extra eyes and ears out there, if people are seeing suspicious activity in their neighborhoods, people that don't belong, people that look like they're lurking around vehicles, give us a call right away so we can try to get an officer over there as soon as we can. But if you see those other things that are suspicious, maybe you see a bunch of things that appear to be catalytic converters or automobile parts being loaded or unloaded out of a vehicle, maybe out of a storage unit or a garage, that this person's not a mechanic and there's really no reason why they should have those things, also report those pieces. And again, we're not going to be that person that's just reporting anything on your neighbor, but if you know something doesn't feel right and it doesn't look right, and with the information that we always appreciate getting those calls.
Captain Deric Swenson of the Moorhead Police Department is joining us. We're talking about this sudden rise in catalytic converter thefts going on in Fargo and Moorhead. And Deric, we got a question in from the 702 communications line. Would you ask the captain if the thieves are charged with stealing the cost of the salvage or the cost of replacement? Because I imagine that changes the level of the crime.
Typically, and again, we haven't been able to catch many of these, but what we would look at is trying to build a case, and by building that case, hopefully being able to connect them with not just the one that maybe they got caught with, but others. And it would probably be, building on whatever we could in regards to the possession of stolen property or criminal damage to property. So we try to add up those different elements of the crime together.
What are the chances it's one entity with several moving parts?
And that's a big possibility when you look at these things, especially when we start looking at a rash of them. They come in waves. This isn't the first time we've had this type of theft. Sometimes they'll go away and then they come back, and it's usually our theory is going to be is that there's somebody who's become an unwanted talent in our community in being able to do these efficiently and effectively, and they're taking advantage of it. And hopefully they can be in the wrong place at the right time for us, that we're able to catch them or have community cooperation with catching somebody in the act.
Captain Swenson, what about fencing? The person that the thieves would take their catalytic converters to get money from, there's got to be a short list of people that are possibilities for that. Would that be another avenue to go try to track these guys down and put the squeeze on them?
Yeah, and we have a good relationship with similar type of things with people who are stealing property like out of vehicles and utilizing a pawn shop. We don't have the same registration, obviously, that we do with pawn items that we get to see that come from what people are pawning and what amounts. But, we'd look at those type of things, and hopefully we can build those relationships with those agencies that are businesses that are using, that's part of their livelihood also. And most real businesses, or all real businesses, aren't going to really want to have a illegal activity going on that is messing with their true business and their livelihood. So again, we look into those pieces, but a lot of times what we'll have is people will break those down and have several people come in with one or two items instead of one person coming in with a bunch, and it makes it look much less suspicious to that business owner.
I bet. Captain Swenson, I know you're not responsible for this part of the law and et cetera, but if somebody gets captured stealing multiple catalytic converters and or fencing multiple catalytic converters, can they do some time for this?
Yeah, we'd be starting to look at, again, we have that value of $1,000 for replacement, so it'd bring it up to a felony level very quickly. So, especially with if they have several and it's several victims, especially those that are making sure they're reporting it, we can trace those back, or at least have a suspicion that we trace them back. There's not necessarily a record of serial numbers on each catalytic converter, so being able to trace those victims back is going to make sure that the people are making good reports with us also that are victimized. Captain
Swenson, we see something, and this has been the mantra since 2001 when the towers went down, see something, say something. It doesn't have to be about terrorism. It can be about any kind of suspicious activity. Do you call 911 when you see somebody lurking about in your neighborhood, or do you call the non-emergency number, or do you go online? What do you do?
There's all those options. Depends on what you have. If this is a delayed report, you can definitely call our non-emergency number. Most police departments, including the Moorhead Police Department, on our website has an ability to do a citizen entry, including being able to put photos on there and submit them to us and request a phone call back or something. But if it's occurring and you see someone actively breaking into a vehicle, or it looks like they're tampering with a vehicle or any other type of active crime, then we obviously encourage 911. It's the fastest way for you to get us.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can get a picture or even a little video, that'd be great. But don't take the law into your own hands. Stay in your house. Use your Zoom feature. Get the best picture you can, but don't put your own self at risk. You don't know what somebody will do for a catalytic converter, Captain Deric Swenson joining us from the Moorhead Police Department. Keep an eye out in your neighborhood. Get those. Tell you what, I've not that it's the end all, but we invested about a year or two in these lights that stay on all the time, or the motion detector ones, and man, they light up the front yard at our house. And I'm not saying that that's protected us from anything, but it's got to add to things and make people wary for approaching any vehicles in your driveway. So I hope you'll be careful and not get your car burglarized this winter. Yeah, Captain Deric Swenson of the Moorhead Police Department, thank you so very much. I wish you a happy new year, Deric.
Thank you. You too. Take
care. KFGO time, 4:53. It's 7 away from the top of the hour. You're listening to The Drive on the Mighty 790 KFGO.
This is News Radio KFGO. Weather Watch.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm KFGO Chief Meteorologist Tom Szymanski. Snow moving through the area at the present time. That will continue to cause some slippery travel all the way through the late afternoon, early evening commute, but there will be a tapering trend from southwest to northeast during the evening and overnight periods. And if my timing is correct, within a couple of hours of midnight or so locally, that is when the snow should either completely end or just taper to non-accumulating flurries. There is a weather advisory that runs until 6 a.m. tomorrow because of the slippery travel due to the snow. Temperatures tonight dropping down to about 14, south wind 6 to 20, might gust higher briefly this evening, settling down a bit and then turning northwest as the front moves on through and ramping up again to 12 to 26 after midnight. This will cause some BS out in the open country. And my prediction, total snow from when it started earlier today until it ends during the nighttime tonight locally, anywhere from 2 to 5 inches. This does not mean we're all going to get 5 inches, nor does it mean we're all only going to get 2. There will be a couple of places that approach 6, and there will also be some other places that get